Peace and blessings, family. I am Astarius Miraculi, and this is day 8 of 100 days of healing and atonement for my sexual inappropriateness. And please partake of the entire series to get the full story. Some may ask, how do I feel after having revealed so many of my sexual shadows? Well, one, I feel lighter. There's been a burden I've been carrying. And I think emotional honesty is always very, very healing. And sometimes I call it sacred guts on the table. And so God knows there's a long way to go. And I am committed to doing this work. I'm very, very happy that I will start my therapy next week, and blessed to have a husband and wife. So I have a man and a woman therapist, which I feel will really facilitate me in going deep and just reaching that place of clearing and reaching that place of healing. Another thing that I've been feeling is just tremendous gratitude for the impact it's having in the community. I have, heard from some women in particular that were saying, or that thanked me and were very, very grateful because it helped them to heal some things that had never been spoken to, or someone who'd never apologized to them. So I'm grateful to know that it's having a healing effect on a large scale. As I look deeper into the reality of all of this, it feels like it's the potential for massive, massive healing. Because, when we look at the issues of one, the pains of one, the shadows of one, it's always interconnected, to others. And so we have this amazing opportunity to grow. One thing that I've learned over the years when I look at people that feel like they're deep in their shadows and darkness or whatever, is my spiritual learnings has taught me to believe in their redemption. Like no matter how so-called low they may seem to be, I've chosen to look larger because I want to be a complement to betterment. And I learned that if I see them only according to the so-called lowliness that they're engaging in, then I become an accessory to that. I'm giving even more energy to it, and so I want to be an accessory to healing. So what I would do is I would look larger, like I would see the possibility of their redemption. I would envision them as having risen completely above that. And there was great blessings in that. One, I'm looking larger, so I'm feeling better because I'm not locked in on their shadows. And I mentioned that to say that, we all have something to put in the mix here. I am the fulcrum of this experience, and yet it's so interconnected to our world, to our community. And so there's a tremendous opportunity to heal, and as you witness me revealing all of this to you, I ask you, beloveds, to just, really ask the Most High to show you how it is that you can put something in the mix that would facilitate the collective healing, because I think that would be a good thing for all of us. I want to offer a prayer of blessing to all of the little children that were caught masturbating and then got spanked and shamed. And I know that parents did that because they didn't want the little one to prematurely, get into things that would be unhealthy. And I just putting that out there because I think it's something so important to look at, in that, that could be a subtle form of sexual abuse, because they're shamed and spanked for a discovery that they were having. And I'm sure that there's many, many, many that were caught that way, sometimes caught with other children with the pants down playing show and tell and things of that nature. So I just pray that we also learn to address our children in a healthier way, when we catch them in their own discovery of their bodies. I also ask for prayer for all of the men, in the experience of circumcision. I don't know all of the religious ramifications of that, and I never was. My mother didn't have me circumcised. But I understand that sometimes it's done without anesthesia. The little one is, a couple few months old or whatever. And there may be some psychological impact as an assault upon the little male being. Again, I don't know all about all the religious ramifications. I do feel, though, that when God creates us, that God didn't miss the mark, and it's not like we have to go back and do something that Creator, didn't finish. I won't say a whole lot more about that, but I do feel that that may have had a damaging impact upon little boys that grow then into men, because it is upon the organ, that is the sexual organ. So just for whatever that's worth, let's offer prayer, for that as well. So today, want to talk about the sexual hugging, that I had engaged in for so many years, and also where or how that began. It was something that came to me that really precedes the hug itself, was the connecting of the foreheads, and this was before I'd ever really saw the Tibetan Buddhist monks, and there's different cultures, the New Zealanders, that greet each other, and they place their forehead to forehead. And I had never seen that before, but it was just something that I was guided to do. And so at the end of the session, would place my forehead on the forehead, of the woman, and so we'd be just there, foreheads touching, eyes closed, and then something very mystical would happen, and there would just be like this magnetic force that would push our heads apart. But then there was this laser beam sort of connection, and there was this energy that could be felt, in there, and then we would hold hands and raise the hands up, as in an offering, to Creator Source. And then in the embrace, it was like imagining that I'm embracing the Creator, imagining that, Creator Source is right here in the middle of this embrace. And so, it had some strong spiritual connotations in there, even though I hasten to say, that I had my own woundedness, my own emotional, sexual neediness in there, the need to feel that energy. And as I had mentioned before, so often there was this strong attraction, this strong chemistry, and so we would be, in this embrace, it would become almost like a trance, and there would just be pure feelings that would encompass the experience, and it was like the mind would just completely, disappear. And I had many experiences like that where it was quite profound, and where it was able to be held in a good way, and it was, mutual presencing and that kind of thing. But that's not the one that is the issue. The issue is, when there was a feeling of abuse. And the thing that I got confused about is that when I was having these experiences, I was not really getting a clear and decisive no. The body would be like so present, with me. Because one thing, about myself, is that if I can get a clear and decisive no, it's very easy for me to honor that, and over the years I've learned that, relative to, the feminine wound, sometimes women just don't feel that they can say a clear and decisive no. And, that's one thing that I've worked on throughout these years, is learning how to read that energy, because I honestly do not want to engage, with anyone, somewhere where they don't really want to meet me, you know. And so I just sincerely ask all of the women, to please give your clear and decisive no. And I ask my brothers and all men to please, when you get a clear and decisive no, then heed that no. Now I've done a lot of work to get to even have a semblance of understanding of what I'm sharing with you now, but I do feel it very deep in my being, and it's very, very important to me. Looking back and not necessarily understanding all those things from the moment itself, but looking back, I could see how, there was partly a yes and partly a no. And in my woundedness, I would lean more to paying attention to the yes rather than the no. And that, of course, is what, has, created problems for me. And so many times, after the fact, beyond the moment of the experience, then there would be, the sharing, from the woman of, just the whole inappropriateness of that, and it definitely was. But the one thing I was confused about again is that I didn't have that clear and decisive no, and so I was trying to figure out, what is it? But again, my woundedness was very much in the mix, and so I didn't have the wherewithal to be completely clear, in that. I've done work on this stuff for quite some time, and I've made some good strides. I mean, I've healed some layers of it, and have been wanting to clear the whole thing, myself. And at this stage of my life, it's obvious that I need some help in clearing this, and that's why I'm going to be, in therapy, with this wonderful professional, husband and wife team. And I'm really excited about, my own healing. I'm excited about healing across the board, because I really feel that this experience is deeply impacting the brotherhood, because, we have our experiences, and we have our shadows, and, many men have not experienced necessarily the exposure of their shadows in the way that I am, have been called out and am now, exposing, my shadows. So, I'm sure there's more. Let me just offer a tone, get to the next something. Well, we have 100 days to work with it. Well, here, this is the 8th day, so we have 92 more days to work with. And I thank you all so much for holding space, for me. I pray that you can reach the presence of mind and heart to believe in the possibility of my absolute redemption and healing of this. I am absolutely committed to that. I know without a shadow of a doubt that I'll do that. And I just ask for your prayers on that too, to believe that I can rise up into the highest resonance of a man and a human being, that I can. And I want to offer a poem now, because we're one family, we're one being, and this is one that I wrote that I call One Being, and I think that it could be meaningful in this now moment. There's only one life in which we all share. and only one love through which we all care. Only one being in all that we're seeing, a slumbering giant, is what we are freeing. When one is at peace, what a mighty release, a breath unto life that all may increase. Anyone's joy is everyone's right, the wise one's wisdom is the blind one's sight. Yes, there's only me in all that I see, the joining of life is what makes me free. And those who achieve and abundance receive is that part of me in whom I believe. When I am a winner, I honor all life. When I am a loser, all life shares my strife. Before life on this earth and my physical birth, I danced with the angels and knew my true worth. Yet all that I was, I really still am, the God out of heaven, an innocent lamb. If I want to know who I truly be, seek all that there is, and I will find me. Oh, I know there was one other thing I wanted to say about the no coming from woman. I have learned at this stage of my life, if I'm engaging with a woman, and even as much as 75% of her is saying yes, but 25% is saying no, then for me, wisdom is to heed the 25%. And I'm grateful that I've been able to reach that place, and I offer that, to the brothers and to all of the women that I have engaged in inappropriate hugging. My beloved women, my beloved sisters, I am so sorry for that. I deeply apologize, for that, and I promise to hold you from this time forward in the highest esteem. And I pray for your absolute wholeness and healing. And then I also want to share something that's really important, is just this deep, deep love. In the midst of all of my darkness and all of my shadows, one of the things that has been a theme in my life since the age of 22, when I came onto my spiritual path with some measure of consciousness, is that I have loved you. And yes, when I slip off center, the love has left the building in that moment, but the overall reality of my life, women, men, all beings, all races, I love you so much. And I know that in doing that, I'm loving my own self by extension, because every being is me by extension. I know that loving the drop is loving the ocean. And what I do unto the drop, I do unto the ocean. What I feel about the drop, I feel about the ocean. And so, my beloved sisters, beloved women, apologies, an infinite number of apologies, and infinite love. I love you with the passion of heaven, and I am committed to following the example of the universe and growing in that love that is eternal expansion. So much more to say, and I'll say it in these coming days. So thank you so much for joining me in day 8 of 100 days of healing and atonement. Bugs biting me a little bit. Okay. Love you, family. Love you.